Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. Guys, the day has come. Pyro Gaming is going to talk about the raid. Holy shit. Oh my god. Stop the presses, guys. Stop the presses. Pyro Gaming's going to talk about the raid. Holy shit. Anyway, so as you can see, I'm playing the raid right now. I did complete the raid for the first time this week. There's a couple of reasons that I've been waiting to do it. Reason number one, I didn't want to get in that endless cycle that so many Destiny players get in, where you go and just grind the living hell out of the raid so that you can get max light level, and the only reason for you to have max light level is so you can do better in the raid. So then you go grind the raid to get your max light level, but the only reason that you have your max light level up is so that you can do better in the raid. It's just an endless circle that causes a lot of people to get super bored and burn out on this game, and they stop playing. I did not want to get into that endless loop because, I mean, let's be honest. If you're above light level 380, you can comfortably do everything in this game except maybe the heroic version of the raid. For heroic version of the raid, if you're 390, you're probably going to be okay, man. Like, there's no reason for you to try to grind so much to get your light level maxed out as quickly as possible. It makes no sense, man. I go into activities at 385, like a Nightfall and stuff like that. You know, things that are supposed to be a little bit more difficult, and I'll play a Nightfall with somebody that's, 398, 399, and I'm getting more kills than they are, and I'm dying less than them. Light level means absolutely nothing, guys. It means nothing. If you are above light level 385, you're fine, man. Slow down. Enjoy the ride. But aside from that, there is another reason that I have been waiting to do the Wrath of the Machine raid for the first time, and that is because a few people that I play Xbox Live with and we all got together this week, and we had a LAN party. We got to meet each other face-to-face for the first time, got to hang out, have a few beers, and this raid footage that you're watching right now, this was recorded in a room with 5 people, all playing on separate TVs, and, just like being able to talk to each other, because they're sitting right next to you, as opposed to, being able to use a headset. So, I mean, that was awesome, man. I'm so glad that I waited to do this raid for the first time with these guys, because to do this for the first time in the room with the people that I play with all the time, fucking awesome, man. I would definitely recommend, if you have some friends on Xbox Live that, you've played with for a long time, or even on PSN that you've played with for a long time, try to meet up, man, because these are friends, These are your friends. Meet up, hang out, have a few beers, go out to eat. If you're not old enough to have a few beers, I don't know, maybe go to an arcade and have some High C or some Sunkist or something. I don't know. I don't know what young people do these days. I don't know. But anyway, let's talk about the raid, man. Before we get into my overall impressions of the raid, which we will definitely be doing, I can go on for a little while about it. But I do want to say, for those of you who have not yet done the raid, if you are still a noob to the raid, maybe you've tried to go in, you couldn't beat it, guys, your window to complete this raid with randoms, if you don't have a regular fire team, is getting smaller and smaller by the day. We all remember how King's Fall was when it came out. After a couple of months, you could not get into a fucking random lobby in King's Fall unless you had, like, the challenge mode emblem or some dumb shit like that. So there's still a large chunk of the Destiny community that has yet to complete this raid. So for those of you who haven't done it yet, this is your time to get in, get match made, or find a team, and go do it without, just being instantly kicked when you say, I haven't done this before, or if you ask a question. So that, like I said, that window's getting smaller and smaller by the day. So if this is something that you're interested in, you want to do this raid, you don't have a regular group of friends that you play with, you need to hurry up, man, because you're running out of time. Pretty soon, it's going to be nothing but douchebags on the forums. Must have this, and must be light level 400, and have 14 emblems, and the Gilgamesh shader, or some dumb shit, like they do. You know how they are. You guys play this game. You know how stupid they can be. But anyway, impressions of the raid. Man, it was fun, but I think that any activity in Destiny can be fun if you play it with the right people. I think if I was in a different group, like with some shitty people or some assholes, I would not have enjoyed this raid as much as I did. But because I was playing, with people that I play with regularly, that I do enjoy playing with, I think that made this raid a little bit more enjoyable for me. But as far as the actual raid itself, the mechanics, honestly, they feel a little lazy. Like, grab a Siva charge, throw it at this guy. Oh, wait, next boss, Same fucking mechanic. Grab a Siva charge, throw it at this guy. You know, you look at raids like, say, Vault of Glass, for example. All right, at the Templar, you had the oracles that you had to destroy in order for him to take damage. And then you go to Atheon, you have to pick up a relic and stand in Time's Vengeance in order to damage Atheon. Two different bosses, two different mechanics. They're not at all similar, right? You look at Crota. Crota's a bad example because the only, I guess, bosses that you had were the Death Singer and Crota himself. But even that, Death Singer you shot with bullets, and Crota you had to drop with a sword and go hit him with a sword. Different bosses, different mechanics. You look at King's Fall, 3 different bosses, well, technically 4 different boss encounters. You had War Priest, which had his own thing. You had to light the totems in a certain order in order to get the little aura thing to go damage him. And then you had Golgoroth. You had to shoot him in his little, nasty herpes back thing to get his gaze so that he can start taking damage, and you drop the little ball. Like, the point I'm getting at is all of the bosses in previous raids have had completely different mechanics, whereas in this raid, it's kind of the same thing. You take their shields down by throwing a Siva charge at them. And to me, that feels very lazy. Another thing that I think feels very lazy about this raid is the encounters themselves. You only have 2 actual encounters in this entire raid. You compare that to King's Fall, where you had relics, totems, jumping puzzle, like all this other shit. 4 boss encounters before you're finally done. And then you look at this one, it's Vosik Phase 1, Vosik Phase 2, and the other guy Phase 1, I can never remember his name, and the other guy Phase 2. Like, you're fighting the same dudes twice, and that is the raid. Like, is it just me, or does that feel very lazy? Like, that feels super lazy to me. I don't know what it is, but, this raid felt to me more like a long strike as opposed to a raid. I would put this on the Crota tier as far as how challenging it is and, how lazy the mechanics are. I realized that this raid was designed by the live team. This wasn't designed by the actual, Bungie game team or whatever, or the raid team, whatever they have over there. It was designed by the live team, and let's be honest, Rise of Iron as a whole was made just to keep us busy and shut us up because Bungie was tired of listening to us complain. So because of that, a lot of the Rise of Iron stuff feels very rushed and, feels very fluffy. It's not, long-term things, it's just fluffy. Now, real quick, I'm going to stop. Like I said, this is my first time doing this raid, and you just saw me jump on his back because I was empowered a few seconds ago, but I didn't realize that when somebody else slams the thing into his back, the empowerment changes, right? So I lost my empowered aura stuff, and I jump up there like a dumbass to try to fucking slam his back, and I'm just like, why isn't it slamming? What's going on? Is my button broken? And then I realized, oh shit, I'm not empowered anymore, guys. So luckily, I didn't cause my team to wipe there. Luckily, we had plenty of those little, I don't know what the fuck they're called, those little light things that you have to go stand in so that the Siva shit doesn't kill you. But, yeah, I had to acknowledge that because I know you guys are going to drill me in the comments for it. But anyway, back to what I was saying. This raid feels more like a strike than a raid itself. Now, I realize you have other stuff in this raid. You do have like a jumping puzzle kind of thing. There's, the monitors that can take up some time if you go and do that. Going and getting all the chests, they put them in areas where they take a little bit longer to get to, and that is so that you spend more time in the raid. That's honestly what it's there, or rather kind of difficult to get to, like, way off in the back. You have the Death Zamboni, which was a interesting encounter. I thought it was going to be more fun than it was. It looked a lot more fun in videos and on Twitch and stuff than it actually was. It wasn't difficult. I mean, we got it, knocked out in the first shot, but I don't know. It's a weird encounter for a raid, with the cutscene that has to go, like, it loads up another area. That reminds me of Crota, where you leave the Thrallway and you go to Crota's area, how the screen goes black for a second. Think back to all the raids that you've done in Destiny, all 4 of them. Those are the only 2 times where you have a loading area. All the rest of the raids are completely linear. Like King's Fall, from beginning to end, you do not go to a loading screen. You do not go to a cutscene. That is just one straight piece. Same goes for Vault of Glass. So those are the big raids. Those are the ones that weren't rushed. Those are the ones that they took extra time to get the details in. And Wrath of the Machine just doesn't feel like that, man. It feels lazy. I hate to say it, but it does, man. It feels lazy. Like, I enjoyed it. You know, I thought that the mechanics were pretty easy. Literally all you need to do to succeed at this raid is talk a lot. You just have to fucking talk and talk and talk. Communication is everything in this raid. If you can communicate, you can beat this raid with one hand tied behind your back and your dick in a vice. It's really easy. Like, I've heard so many people say, oh man, the new raid's so hard. It's like, you must just not be a very good player, because I did it for the first time and I didn't die once, by actual enemies. It's easy. It really is. But anyway, that's my opinion. I think overall it's a fun raid. I definitely will do it again, but it just feels lazy. But anyway, guys, that's going to bring this video to an end. Thanks for sticking around and listening to me ramble on about nothing. If you enjoyed this video, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you for watching. Take care, guys.